Black Hawk down. 3 more Australian soldiers killed and 7 injured in Afghanistan. Gunman on the loose. A young parolee paralyses Melbourne's sporting heart. Extraordinary new claims about the Milne and Montagna sex scandal. And Abbott plays underdog despite another poll boost.
This is 9 News with Tony Jones.
Good evening. Just 2 days after a digger was laid to rest, there's more tragic news, I'm afraid, from Afghanistan. 3 Australian soldiers have been killed in a helicopter crash, bringing our total number of fallen there to 16. Livinia Smith with our report.
Just last week, this was the vision the Army released.
Used for a gunman who eluded a major police lockdown of Melbourne's sporting precinct. After a crime spree that began in the city's east, his weapon has been recovered, but 19-year-old David Rowntree tonight remains at large. With the first of our reports, we're joined by Brendan Roberts. Brendan, what can you tell us?
Tony, David Rowntree was last spotted crossing the footbridge you see behind me. Police and
Roberts, 9 News.
Now, even before today's escapade, David Rowntree was well known to police. At just 19 years of age, he's managed to establish quite a criminal history that saw him jailed. Brett McLeod has been checking on his background. Brett?
Well, Tony, who is David Paul Rowntree, a young man barely into adulthood who led to today's...
Thanks, Brett. To other news, and the police officer who investigated rape and sexual claims involving St Kilda footballers Stephen Milne and Lee Montagna has told of a campaign of intimidation and threats to ensure the allegations never made it to court. Breaking his silence, the former detective also revealed how files mysteriously went missing, including the victim's statement and recording of interviews. Tim McMillan has this exclusive report.
After 6 years of silence... And there's still plenty more to come from this story. We'll have more explosive revelations about just how this investigation may have been compromised. We'll have those for you tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Tony?
All right, thanks for that, Tim. Well, the search for a twin turboprop plane carrying 6 Australian mining executives has resumed in West Africa. At first light a few hours ago, 4 helicopters joined 4 fixed-wing aircraft and ground crews scouring jungle areas for the small plane. Among those on board, billionaire Ken Talbot. The group from Sundance Resources were filmed last Thursday sealing the deal on a major iron ore mining lease on the Cameroon-Congo border. Another woman come forward to complain about disgraced former David Jones chief executive Mark McGuinness. While the 45-year-old continues to hide overseas with his pregnant girlfriend, the woman has reportedly written a letter to David Jones about an alleged incident that occurred in a marquee at a Sydney meeting in 2004. The department store says it has no record of the complaint and maintains the sexual harassment claim by publicist Christy Fraser-Kirk was the only one against Mr McGuinness it knew about. It's now investigating. Well, Labor MPs are taking some heart from the latest opinion polls, but their optimism might be unwarranted. Laurie Oakes says today's news poll confirms Labor is headed for defeat unless Kevin Rudd can lift his game.
Kevin Rudd and Tony Abbott were at the same function.
Detail a little later in the weather. But when we come back, trucks targeted in a major blitz and Barassi having a ball at the World Cup.
Talia, 9 News.
All right, let's continue with the sporting flavour now. Lisa's along and Chris Judd just a little bit lucky.
Yes, Tony, the Blue skipper has escaped suspension, but one of his teammates hasn't. Details after the break, plus the Kiwis embarrass the World Cup kings.
Julie Goodwin with the chicken soup guaranteed to cure any cold, even man flu.
While it's been a forgettable World Cup so far for the Socceroos, New Zealand is once again celebrating after embarrassing Italy. Brazil beat the Ivory Coast 3-1. Paraguay proved too good for Slovakia, while the Kiwis drew 1-1 with the defending champions. Ken Sutcliffe reports.
We expect it from the Kiwis on the rugby field.
In golf, Irishman Graham McDowell has taken out the US Open. Tony?
Good on you, Lisa. They'll be downing the Guinness tonight, won't they? All right, weather's next with Brodie. G'day, Brodie.
Another chilly night ahead, Tony. I'll have the outlook next. 17, then down the scale to just 13 for the next 3 days, clearing by Monday. So, Tony, hopefully some good weather for the school holidays ahead.
Well, some consolation for the suffering mums, Brodie. Thanks very much for that. And that's what's our news for this Monday. Have a great evening and good night.